Hello everyone, Angela here. How are you? Welcome back to my channel. Hope that you are all well and excited to make the cover for our Whispers of Spring journal. So yeah, I'm very excited to share what I've got planned for you today. So just wanted to start off and ask everybody if you've noticed that where the comment section is just below the video, there's a word there that's called, a button called Hype, Hype. Now what Hype is, it's a way to, what's the word? Promote, yes, promote the video, my video, or whichever creator you choose to hype. And it gets us a little bit more out there, if that's the word. It sort of puts the video out there if you press the hype button. So I would like to ask you, I think you've got 3 opportunities to hype people that you watch every week. So if you could do that for me, I'd be most grateful. It costs you absolutely nothing, and it just encourages my videos to get out there, and I could really do with that at the moment. So thank you in advance. Right, today we're going to do the cover. I'm going to talk you through what I've done, and I have already covered the journal. As you can see, I've put the wooden bits on the inside. We're using elastic, and if you bought an ultimate bundle, you would have this elastic in there along with your little pouch with the Hessian string in pink. We're going to use this as well today, so grab that. I've put the lemon polka dot in the middle. I've double-sided the elastic, and I've lined this all, covered it with the fabric. Now I will link the video on how to cover it and also how to put in the elastic bits. It's the same for every journal, so I don't want to bore you with that, but I will put those 2 videos there if you haven't done that already with me. All right, so really nice, easy cover to do if you are new to journaling, or just, you know, if you don't feel like sewing in the signature, because there's that. All right, so everything's done now. We've got a nice blank canvas, and we are ready to decorate it. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all is I want to make a little frame. I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to put that to the side for the moment, and encourage you to get a piece of card. All right, this is just card, any card. You're not going to see the card. I've just taken a card from, I think it was packaging I had. So that's what that is. All right, now I have chosen to go with this image, and this image is one I've cut from the mini pages that come from the kit. With all my kits, I do half-size pages, so if you struggle to do that, I've already set it up so you just print them out. All right, so I've cut this one 9.5 centimeters. Okay, and it's actually, sorry, it's 3 3/4 inches wide. Okay, 3 3/4 and 9, just short of 9.5 centimeters. Okay, and that is half the page, which is as it's printed, which is, well, for me it's 14.5 centimeters, but with the US it might be 14. Okay, doesn't matter, it's all relative. Okay, so we are wanting a little frame that's going to fit over there, so I've just lapped it, you can see, slightly more, so it'll just cover everything like that. Okay, so what I did was I've measured 1 centimeter, or pretty much just under, about a 1/2 inch. You can do 1/2 inch, and I have cut that out. All right, so what I did to get the size was I just put this down on the card. I then measured the 1 centimeter, or the 1/2 inch, all the way around it. I drew around the picture, and then I added it on and cut that out. All right, and then I've measured that in there, so it's just bigger, slightly bigger than this image here. All right, so that's what we've got. Now we're going to cover this and I'm going to just talk you through it because I've done it already. Right, so I've used this to cover the frame, okay, and the way you do that is you get your piece, you stick it down onto the little page like that. So let's do that, and I'm doing this really roughly. You want to put more glue than I'm going to put down on here, and we're not going to struggle with this one, so I'm just going to use the Fabri-Tac. It's faster flowing. So you want to just get the glue onto your frame, yeah, and stick it on here. Now I've only drawn this because it helps me centralize it once the glue's on. So there we go, just so that it's even all around. Okay, now the paper is, what is that? It's less than half an inch, so probably a quarter, just over a quarter of an inch wider. So you're looking at about, what is that, a half a centimeter or so. It's about just short of a centimeter. Whatever it is, it just needs to be slightly less than what this is. Okay, yeah, you're looking at about, it's about just over a quarter, and that's the main thing. As long as it's narrower than that, because when you fold it over, you don't want it to go so far that it's coming over this edge here. Once you've got that all in line, what you want to do then is you want to draw another row, and you don't need to be precise with this. I'm just gauging it to be about the same. You want to just draw these lines straight across, yeah, all four sides. Okay, and then where these lines intersect, you want to just draw your scissors from that corner to the corner of the frame all around, like that. All right, and then cut out these middle on these lines you've drawn. And you can use your scissors to do that if that works better for you. Why have I got the blades so long? Right. Okay, so we've got all four done. This is just going to give you a nice clean edge. I can't move this. Right, there we go. So that middle bit is there, and you can use that for something else. And now what you need to do is you've got those bits cut there on all the corners. The only other thing you need to do is miter these corners. Right, so just angle it to the corner and off to the side like that. All right. And then I do suggest using a bone folder and just run the bone folder. I'm only going to do it on the one side, but it's going to be for all sides. I will do it on these two sides. I'm not going to stick it because I've done it with the other. All right, so you've done that with the bone folder. You want to then just fold that paper over and stick those down, and the same with the inside. There we go. Right, so you'll have, when that's stuck down like that, you'll have nice sharp points there. All right, so then you would just go and put some glue on each one of these pieces of paper and get them all stuck down. All right, so that's what we're doing there with your frame. So I've done that already. Okay, I've stuck it all down, and then what I've done is I have just sewn on 3 buttons. These are just tortoise shell buttons. I used to sell them in my shop, and I've just pulled them out and stuck 3 on there. You can either stick your buttons on after you've sewn on, or I actually sewed them straight onto here. I just lay them on to the frame, and then when I was happy with where they were, I've just made 2 holes with my pokey tool. All right, so there's that. Then I'm going to do another one of these. This is just to make it a bit more rustic. This is that Hessian I've put on here, and I'm going to use it for something else as well, but I wanted to do another one on this corner, So I thought I'd do that with you. So all I did there was I took some double-sided tape. You can use glue. That would work well. All right. You want it to be about an inch, just short of an inch really. Let me just see here. Yeah, I'm going to go with that sort of length. All right. And then I'm going to just get it where the edge is here, an inch from the inside. I'm going to get that tape on over there. Now, if you don't have tape, use Fabri-Tac. All right, that would work as well. Okay, and then this is what I don't like about double-sided tape, is getting the red bit off without going insane. All right, so I'm just taking off the, see, it pulls the whole thing off and it drives me crazy. Right, so take off the layer. Okay, now I've measured 12 inches, so that's 30 centimeters of more or less. All right, you don't want to be winding that whole bundle. And the first thing you want to do is leave a little bit extra. We're going to stick that on the back, all right, and then place it on the edge of that tape. Right, now I didn't need to leave it quite that long, but that's all right. And then all we're going to do is wind this around. We'll deal with the ends in a minute, as close as you can, so not hard. It's not hard. And just go round and round. I quite like how it looks. Oh, that's Teddy. Oh, actually, I think that's Abby. They are being good. Nobody's barking out the window or anything. All right, so I've got that bit there. Could have been a bit longer there, if I'm honest, but that's okay. I'll deal with that. And then we've got this bit here. Right, so you want to turn that over. Let's start with the longer bit first. I'm going to take some Fabri-Tac and just, you could use double-sided tape again. I'm just taking a bit of that and I'm going to just use this clip just to keep it there for a bit, and then the same with this side. I'm going to just get that on that side like that, let it dry. All right, so you've got your two bits there and you've sewn on some buttons, so that's all good. All right, now the next thing I did was I cut a piece of paper. All right, so this I want to place underneath there. Now you can do one of two things. Either I've made this again like a centimeter, so a quarter of a centimeter wider than the actual frame. Okay, and I did two because I wanted to screw this up a bit, which I've done, and distress it so it looks a bit grungy, more shabby. I don't really do grunge, but we want to just scrunch it up. You don't have to scrunch it up, but I just scrunched it all up in a ball once or twice. The more I did it, the more it sort of got more and more creases. And, you know, there's a little tear coming there, and I'm going to just make it a bit wider. And I'm going to do that. Yeah. And I think I'll just make a tear over here. And we just, oh, Teddy. We've got that going on there. And you can even roll these little bits over if you want. All right, so there's that. So there's different options you can do with this, whether you want it smooth or you want it looking like a mess. It's up to you. We'll go with the messy one. I just wanted a bit of texture, not everything to be flat. So that's why I'm doing these strange things. Okay, where's our little piece of paper? Here it is. Okay, so I don't need to distress that because we're covering the edges. But what I do want to do now is to get this underneath here. Okay, so I think this should be pretty dry. Yeah, it's just got a little bit sticking out there, and I'm going to just trim that off. So let's see now, if I turn this over, I can sort of get this lined up there, and I'm going to just use my pointed thingy, the finer thing, and I'm going to just get some glue just on the edge here, the very edge. All right, now let's just see, that is the top, so this is the top. Okay, I want the buttons on the top in this instance, so I just want to get these sort of lined up there. Let's see, and a little bit more up that way. Oh gosh. Okay, that's just to get it to where I want it. Now you can put a plastic what's it called, acetate window if you want. I'm not going to do that. I'm quite happy with it as it is. All right, so that's just to give it some hold while I'm positioning it and not struggling. Right, now you do want to sort of get this a little bit straighter in the middle. All right, and we want to place this on there as well. All right, before we stick it down, there's just a couple of things. I've taken one of these lemon tabs and folded it in half and glued it, and I want to just attach it quickly. So I want to get this sort of under here. So I just wanted to get that in place first. Yeah, and then was there anything else I need to place underneath there? I have taken one of these tiny little bull clips, and I've threaded some ribbon in the back there, and I want to get it over here, but I can add that on once I've stuck down the base. So I'm going to take my Fabri-Tac and I'm going to run it all over the back here. You can just press that down. Okay, so be quite generous with the glue. And we can just, now bring it more down that way because we're not really going to see that section very much. And then sort of just even it out and then give it a good press. Now probably better to put it this way. So if I had a little roller brayer thing, I'd use that, but I think this is all right. Okay, here we go. It's just giving it that little bit of texture which I quite fancy, and I like these little terry bits there. It's looking shabbied up. All right, and we should have a little spot to just clip this on, which will just tuck in behind there. You don't have to do that. I just had it, so I thought I wanted to add it. Okay, so we're getting all of this done before we put it on. Right, I'm going to stick on some flowers. I've got 2 flowers here, and I've got 1 piece of greenery, which I used this paper for. Okay, so I want to get that stuck up pretty high. And I'll tell you why. I've got these 2 flowers. I'm going to put the yellow one on first and then sort of layer them. Yeah, like this. I've got that bit there. And I'm going to sort of get it like this. Yeah. So let's just mark the bases of these flowers. Pencil. So this yellow one, no, this is the pink one. Yeah, here's the yellow one, and the green one's got to go there. Green, yellow, pink. It's just for my own edification here. Right, so we want to get this one. I do go backwards and forwards. It's just because I'm trying to get the angles here of what I'm doing. So, okay, I think I've got it. Right, let's get this one down. Okay, one. Here's the yellow one. And then the pink one. Okay, so we've got all of that down. And then I've got a birdie. He's going to go over there. So we'll get him down. Okay. Very nature orientated, isn't it? And then I've got this little flower. Now I've taken a petal with pink on the edges there, a yellow one, and then I've taken one of those lace rosettes. I showed you how to make those earlier. And then again, just a little circle, which I punched out, and a button. And I'm going to stick that over there. Right, I'll stick that on after. So that's our little bit that we've got, and I really like how that's turned out. All right, so let's move all of this out the way, and we can bring back the other piece. All right, and finish this off. So yeah, this needs to move, I think, over there. Right, now I've got lace that I want to put on. Oh, I'll have to bring that back. So I'm going to just use this because we've got this done, and I'm going to just use these three things here for my flowers just to keep this level-ish. I can now see where I want to place what. Now I've also got to put the closure on here, so I'm going to keep it pretty level. And then I've got the lace. So I've got the lovely cream. It's like a yellow, soft lemon. And I'm going to run that there, I think. And then I've got the pink. And I'm going to lap that over like that. Now, I could go all the way round. I think I will. All right, so that's just showing me where I need to be. I'm going to tuck this underneath this goodie there. So this is where the pink is going to go. And this is where I need to place the yellow. Okay, so we can take that down and this away. We'll open it up, get the ruler, and let's just see here. So this is 1.5 inches from the bottom, so I'm going to just measure 1.5. As long as it's looking level, then you're okay. Now I'm just doing this because you're not going to see the pencil, but it just gives me peace of mind that it's as straight as I could make it, really. All right, so that's going to be for the yellow, and then once I've done that, I can come back and do the pink, and I'm just gauging it from the line I've drawn here. That's the pink. That's the easy way to do it, I feel. Right, so I'm not going to bore you. I'm going to make this on fast forward. And I'm going to get that on right there, like that. So I'm probably going to make a bit of a 1/2 inch of glue like this. All right, so we've got that one on. And now we're going to do the same with this one. So this one's going to go just slightly over there like that. Just checking I've got it, that's the wrong way, so that's the right way. Okay, so okay, so that's drying nicely. So while it's lying nice and flat, I just want to see, that's the edge of the fold. So I just want to put that there so that I'm quite clear on where I'm placing this while it's like this, if that makes any sense to you. So now we've got our little bit that's going to go on the top there like that. And as you can see, it's just going to lap that a little bit. And that's great. And then I've got space for my closure, which I'm going to put over there. So with this bit, I like those little goods. There's lots of texture on this one, which is great. So we're going to do our final placement here. Okay, and then we can get that on there like that. That's looking fab. And then we want to just put on our little flower over here. So and then we'll just get that on there like that. And I don't think that this is long enough. No, it's not long enough, so I'll just have to hold it for a minute. All right, so that's come along nicely. And I really like how it's turned out. Quite rustic, full of nature, and right up my alley. Okay, yeah. And then here's the closure, which we will put on over there. So let me see if I can go and grab a eyelet. I'll go with that. This is just We Are Memory Keepers eyelets. Oh, we need two, don't we? You just want to get the halfway mark for this. So it's 9 inches, so that's 4.5. And this is how I do it. Okay. So we'll go. Okay, and that's it. All right, guys, so that's our cover there, and I'll probably make a tassel for it as well, and then I'll add on the closure in there. How pretty is that? Yeah, so we're just going to put our signatures in there now when we finished with them, and that's not hard to do. All right, I hope that you've enjoyed that. It was fun to make, and I really like how it's turned out with all the different textures. Needs a bit of a press. I might get my Yankee candle on this. All right, everyone, I hope that you give this a try. It's a great idea for any theme journal if you're not making this one. And yes, I look forward to seeing how yours turn out. Take good care, have a fabulous weekend, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye-bye.